Hey, what's up guys? Max Peters, former professional rider for Envy Scooters and Urban Art. Today we're going to be talking about things scooter related, tour life and life outside of scootering now that I'm, I guess you could say, retired and an old bastard.
Brendon Smith, ex-professional for Blunt, Envy, and then Fasten. Teammates with Max back in the day. Like favourite memories, I honestly probably don't have a favourite memory, just like being on tour with Max, always a good time. Like honestly, good person to be around and riding with him is always a good time. So to be able to do that, foreign countries, yeah, awesome.
To me, Max, was just like a brother to me. What was my favourite memory? It's really hard to say because like, every moment with Max was my favourite memory because like we just got along so well and like being with Max was just great memories. Being on the same team with Max. To sum it up, I would say travelling was probably the highlight of my moments with Max, really.
Probably the most memorable one would have been the Sweet Tooth tour that we did in the US. So essentially we actually went with the entire Envy and Fasten team. I think almost every rider at the time was on it from nearly every country. And it was just absolutely crazy. We got a beach house in Oceanside and we did, I can't even recall how many stops we did, but it was a large number of stops from everywhere, all around the US. So we were like in the middle of Oceanside and we were driving to like nearly the borders and stuff every day to do all these different meet and greets. And it was actually so funny because at one point we were just so tired and exhausted that I think that we had gotten to one of the stops and Max and I had fallen asleep and we were like asleep for the first half of the signing because we were just so tired. Like, mind you, we were also living up, like we were in this beach house, 20 something years old. It was my first time in the US and it was just a crazy time to say the least. We made the most of it.
I've started riding seriously around 2007 or so. That's when I actually took it on full time, I guess you could say. I grew up racing motocross as a kid, riding BMX, doing anything, you know, skateboarding, anything with wheels, I guess you could say. Since a very young age, obviously rode scooters and stuff back then, just kind of fooled around, just made some ramps at home with the BMXs and scooters, but 2007 is when things started really taking off, taking it a little bit more seriously, going down the skate park basically every day and actually progressing forward. You know, obviously starts off with the same for everyone really. You go down the skate park, you learn to drop in, you start doing flyouts, you do your tail whip, and then next thing you know things explode and progress from there. But back in them early days there wasn't a whole lot of tricks compared to what there is now. So you know, you're doing your basic bri flips and inwards and stuff like that, but nothing compared to what, you know, the average kid will be doing these days. So it started off really slow. And yeah, 2007, I was in year 7, met a lot of friends in that year that also rode scooters and yeah, started filming and looking for sponsors the same year. But my first sponsor was Bayside Blades and they started selling basic scooters stuff. They sold the Razor Pros, they sold Eagle wheels and some stuff like that, some real basic, well this is really early scooter days, especially in Australia where the custom scooter scene wasn't as easily accessible. Got looked after, me and Mick Nungput both got sponsored by them just before the Ultra Pros came out. So we got hooked up with a couple of Razor Pros each, some Eagle wheels, some deck reinforcements for our pros. And then shortly after we got the first Ultras, which were life changer, game changer. I don't know if it was on my MySpace, that's how old this is, or if it was on my Facebook, but the first Ultra Pro I got, I snapped within, I think it was a week, before they had that reinforcement on the head tube. And I posted on my MySpace kind of as like a flex, like yeah, I just snapped this scooter. But before the Ultras, I was going through a Pro, basically every week, just snapping them at the back end, just folding the back wheels off. How me becoming a rider of Envy started is my uncle used to be a professional BMX rider. He's actually friends with the owner of Envy in Blunt, and he put me onto him very early. I think it was 2010, I'm going to say, maybe even late 2009. And this is before he'd fully established everything. He just had a couple of parts he'd made. So the first parts I got were a pair of bars, maybe not stripper bars, maybe Mr. T bars sort of thing. They were just a basic T bar with reinforcements underneath. And then after that, I believe it was maybe a pair of wheels or something like that, but it started very, very early. And I was the first person to officially be a part of the team. Shortly after, things started moving along quickly with them. They started getting the prototypes of more parts, forks, everything like that, and we established a team. The first team was myself, Mitch Baldry, Brendon Smith, Warwick Bainan, Wazza, I'm just going to say Wazza because honestly Wazza, I don't know how to say your last name still, and Adam Rouse. But I still remember hooking Wazza up back in the day. We used to know each other from Monster Camp. I used to go up to Monster a bit, and yeah, essentially just smooth talking Dinny and getting Wazza on the team, and he was absolutely hyped for that. It was great. The early days of the team was awesome, amazing. I still remember the first time we all got our prototype decks, which was the Ace of Spades. It had this brake that was all in one, like it had all the like spaces for your back wheel and everything in it. I think it was called the Mousetrap, and that thing would just sit up so high. And I've actually still got that prototype deck at home. So I've still got all my prototype parts from day one. For any of you wondering what kind of birds these are, that's not Australian, these are magpies. These are the homies here. My dad loves to feed them. There's usually about like 60 of them that come. So when I come here, I usually just hang out, feed them. Apparently it's not good to give them mince, but they enjoy it. So don't hate me. Don't hate me. We're just at my parents' joint in my dad's shed. It's got lots of history in here, scootering history, and a lot of other shit really. But as we walk in, you'll see the first bit hanging up here. Obviously got the bolted Razor Pro up here, FSA headset, I think, the Envy forks or something. And my favourite part about it, you got the Eagle Cody wheel, beautiful. It's got the signature bars on there. The V2s, they're a bit newer than what the scooter is, but that's all right. Got the Razor Ultra next to it, stock standard. It's got the high bars. The Gen 2, obviously it's got the reinforcement here, as I was talking about. I did snap the V1, didn't snap the V2 though. So continue on the back and I'll show you all the prototype stuff that I have. An Envy ATS dirt scooter, God, I don't know how long I've had that for, 10 years maybe. A prototype V1 of my Urban Art deck. What you'll notice about this, it is, actually, is it? No, it is, sorry. It is a prototype. This has got the V2 base with the V3 headset, head tube. So that was the first prototype I got. But we've got heaps of stuff up here. ATS dirt scooters, decks, stripper bars, brand new V2 bars. I don't know if you can really see that. That's a prototype pair of Union bars, the very first ones I got. Obviously another brand new set of my bars. Shit. Anyways, these are a prototype MP bar, the aluminium version. One of one, I guess you could say. There's not many of them got made. These are Urban Art bars, I think. They're just like a different design. And these bars here, this is the very first pair of bars I ever received. That was the very first prototype product I ever got. They're the V1 candy bar, maybe I think it was called back then. But yeah, that's the very first product I ever got from Blunt. We've got oceans and oceans of parts in here, of just bars, random shit. I've even got proto bars in here. I've got, what are these, affinity bars, everything. I've got Fast and Smith bars back here, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, and spiral bars, there you go. Fast and spirals, Fast and Smith bars. The NVT bars, I don't know, lots of stuff. Lots and lots and lots. Stuff falling down everywhere. Got some Cooper Clark Phoenix bars here. This is the prototype AOS V2. It's the AOS V2 head tube with the first ever Ace of Spades. Look how dirty I am from that. First ever Ace of Spades deck. So it's just a prototype V2 head tube. I roared half of it because, I mean, why the fuck not really? Probably not going to help, but these are, what does it say? Polymer light. It's like a, I don't know. Cam, you can feel these to see the weight, but these are the lightest wheels I've ever had in my life. Have a feel of that. Oh my God. So these worked really well. They felt really nice. The only problem was they had bonding issues. Can't actually tell, but they just really dehubbed really easy. But they look awesome. I love these wheels. Extremely light. So inside this box, we've got a couple of goodies. Just random things inside here as well. That I actually don't even know how I got half of them. But, oh shit. Whole bunch of random wheels. These are the first 120 by 30s that they made. I actually wasn't on Envy when they made these. I don't know how I got these. Maybe off Miles. And a whole bunch of Rogue stuff. Shout out Dan Barrett. Eagle wheels. But the good stuff is in here. So we got TSI deck. Honestly, I never thought I'd find one of these in Australia again, but Brap, the local shop in Frankston, was closing down. They had a bunch of stuff there and I bought that. I think it was $50 I paid for it. Pretty cool. Polished AOS V2 that we did. Another pretty cool thing. Two brand new V4s, they're wrapper still. And the holy grail right here for anything Blunt Envy related. This is the prototype AOS V1, so the very, very first deck they got. This is that mousetrap break I was talking about. Yeah, it was honestly a pain in the ass, but got the job done. And this is before integrated headsets. So we had to run our own headsets. I believe, from what I remember, it was a smaller size than what the pros and stuff had. So we had to use a special mountain bike, maybe, I don't know. But solid bit of weight to it, pretty cool. I don't actually know how long I had it before, how long I rode it before I got the first version of it. But that's a very sentimental piece of scootering right there. And we got some unreleased Eagle / Urban Art 120 or 115 by 30s maybe, I don't know. These never seen the light of day, which is pretty cool as well. We've got a lot of history in this shed. I'm sure if I was to go through it all, we'd find a whole bunch of random shit. Yeah, so my signature products, like I said, I was very fortunate to have a lot of signature parts throughout many brands really. But it first started off with Blunt or Envy, and it started off with just the Max Peters bars. And then after the first set of bars came out is when the first round of the AOS V2 decks came out. I was one of, I think it was 6 people that got signature products. But the AOS V2 was my personal favourite deck ever made out of any company. I think that was the deck that really changed my riding style and projected my career upwards. That was just an unreal deck coming from the Ace of Spades V1. The V2 was just next level. After that, I think I got the signature V2 bar, which just came a little bit taller, a little bit wider. And then after that, obviously the AOS V3, which was one of the first oil slick products ever made. Pretty cool. But the cost of the oil slick to do back then, I unfortunately didn't get a graphic on the bottom like everyone else, so they just etched my initials and or my logo on the bottom, which I can't really complain about. I had an awesome looking scooter back then. And then I had the AOS V4 as well, which was a longer, wider deck than obviously the V3s. That's when my riding really started to change, going more towards the techie street style of riding. I wanted the 5 wide. It was sold 4.9 by 21, I believe, but I used to get custom decks made by them, which were a little bit wider than 5 and they were 22 long, which I thought was really awesome for Envy to do. They made me a custom deck for me to ride, but sold the deck a little bit smaller, which was awesome. I left Envy, I got some signature parts with drone scooters as well. We had 2 pairs of bars with them. I had I think the first pair was the titanium T-bars, and then after that was a pair of steel T-bars, chrome up top and then 2-tone, so black down the bottom. And then I signed with Urban Art and I had the signature deck with them, which I've got a prototype somewhere at home, which has a different actual design on the bottom. So I've had a fair few signature products, fortunately, over the years, which I love. Still got one of every part that I've had somewhere in this house or at my parents' house. Yeah, the classic flare flat, 2011, maybe 2012. I think it was before my signature deck, so I think it was 2011-ish. Every school holidays, I'd go up to Sydney and I'd spend a week at Monster Camp, hanging out with the likes of Wazza, Brendon, Lupos, and all them boys. I would do flares on really small banks, and I don't know, I used to feel confident enough. I tried one as a joke just to see, because I knew that I wasn't going to land on my head. And I got kind of close, and that's the video that's on YouTube. And then ever since then, I would just do it because I knew that, it's not going to hurt. I'm going to land probably deck first and then fall on my butt. It's not too bad. So it might sound like a joke, but I wasn't literally trying to do a flare flat and land in it. I was more so just being a dickhead and being like, watch this, and just do a flare. But yeah, I started getting closer and closer and closer, and then I think it was for my V3 edit. I was just riding down at Empire or Bunker Skate Park back then, and Matty Ceravolo was there, and I got him to film a couple of attempts, and I think on the 4th attempt I just miraculously landed a flare flat, did the half cab out, and I was actually rolling with speeds, which was, everyone stands still these days and does it. And yeah, I really wasn't expecting to land it, and I landed it, and it was as much as a shock to me as I guess the rest of the world. But a funny fact about that clip is Matty's filming with his camera. I land the flare flat, I do a half cab, and then his camera died. So that's why that clip is so short, is because luckily the camera didn't die when I was doing it, but the camera died as I do the half cab and start rolling out. I put my hand up like, what the hell, and his camera died. So I'm very fortunate to actually have it on film. Throughout my career, I guess you could say I've really done it all, as in riding wise. Growing up at Frankston Skate Park, we had the amazing bowls, and then we also had the street section. So I did enjoy doing the grinds and stuff a lot, but I was just your typical park kid for most of the start of my career, really. Just going out there, just trying to go as high as I can, and do as many tail whips or whatever it may be in the air. But I was always into the style side of things. I think growing up, I had that BMX background, so I really appreciated your inverts, your turn downs, your tuck no handers. I grew up riding dirt jumps my whole life on BMX, so I had that BMX influence in my riding, and also riding with Mick. If you guys know who Mick Nungput is, he was one of the most stylish riders. We fed off each other. We would just love to do anything, learn anything really. And then as things started to progress, the better I got, the higher I was going. Obviously, the harder I was hitting the ground. So then I started experimenting with my riding a little bit, just starting to do a lot more grinds and lip tricks, stuff like that. It was also at a point in time where I felt like I was wasn't getting bored with scootering, but going to the skate park and I was spending multiple hours there doing the same stuff wasn't that interesting. So, it was the aspect of almost like a refresh. You're starting on a blank canvas. I had to learn a whole bunch of new tricks, and it brought the excitement back into scootering for me, which then progressed to street riding. Same thing, just getting the confidence in doing something that you're not comfortable doing and learning all these new tricks, just bring the love back. So if I go to the skate park now, I go down with my son Asher, so I'm constantly riding a park, but I still would love to hit the streets I occasionally do every now and then if I'm going out with the boys, but any type of riding on a scooter these days, and I'm more than happy to do. Mine feel too loose. They feel like I'm going to fall off. Yeah, you can do it. Oh, first tee. Ah, are we going to count that? Okay, we can do it 2 times in a row. I was alright once, not anymore. Cool or no? Shout out to the park homies on that one. Whoa! I'm rooting. Jesus. You gotta land that tail whip. Oh yeah! You gonna hit the gritty? Yeah, that's it. All I had to do was put my feet on, right? Been playing golf for just over a year now. Something new hobby. Love learning something new. I guess it kind of relates to scootering in the fact that, you know, the first couple of times I did it, I wasn't that great, and then all of a sudden you learn something new or you get better, and then every time you play, you're learning something new and getting better. So it's the whole progress of that I've been really enjoying. But I'm still very bad, I'd like to say. Just like that. See? Can't be good at everything. Life gets a little bit crazy when you hit 30, things change. My life used to be scootering, photography, and that's about it. Now it's working in golf, and that's about it. Golf life, really. Still play a little bit of video games. When I say a little, I actually mean a lot, but when you butcher shit like that, makes you want to play golf more and get better. But yeah, things are, I don't know. I wish Asher would play a little bit more golf with me, but he still loves his scootering, just not as into golf as I am. But a lot of my friends obviously love to play golf, and it's something new, something exciting. If I was to recommend anything to any young rider that wants to make it professionally, just do everything you can. Don't take anything for granted. And yeah, if any opportunity arises, don't think about it and sit there and think, oh, you know, maybe this and that. Just jump on the opportunity. Live and experience as much as you can. I was very fortunate to travel the world multiple times, see different countries, different cultures, which I'm extremely grateful. I've rode that way for as long as I can, and I recommend everyone does the same. Shout out to OHLAY Brand, Jared, absolute legend for sorting this one out. Big thank you for everyone that supported me over the years. Dinny, Barry, Envy Scooters, they supported me for a long time. Very grateful and fortunate to them. Urban Art, they looked after me as well. Drone, another partner of mine, and anyone who supported me along the way, thank you. My life has been amazing because of you.